Well, it happened. He saw the video and all of the coins were updated. A couple weeks ago, I posted a video where I went through all the secret coins in Geometry Dash SubZero and explained why I thought they were poorly designed. The video was definitely a little exaggerated, but I wanted to express my genuine concerns while also keeping things entertaining. If you look past all the yelling, I provided valid criticism for every coin in the game, touching on why I didn't like them as well as what I would have done to make them better. The original video idea was a total joke, but I'm really happy with how insightful the final product ended up being. Now, I'll be honest. When I posted that video, I totally expected it to flop, and I was prepared for that from the very beginning. If I made videos just to be popular, then this one definitely would have been scrapped, but it's something I do because I love sharing all my thoughts and jokes and ideas with people who enjoy Geometry Dash as much as I do. So even if the video were to get 50,000 views instead of 500,000, that's still an insane amount of people willing to listen to all the random stuff I have to say. So up went the video, and it had the best performance in the entire history of my channel. By the next morning, the video was number 41 on trending and even getting down all the way to 21 in Canada. It performed like 3 times as well as my other videos, and people were actually watching it the whole way through. And then out of nowhere, I get a comment from RobTop, the developer of the game, who is infamous for being dead silent. He just said that he agreed, and I wasn't really sure if it was sarcasm or not, but even if it was, it would still mean that he saw my point. But that comment got me thinking, would RobTop actually go back and update the game's coins? If you know this guy, he is very stubborn when it comes to his official levels. There are things he will not fix, whether it's this skip and monster dance-off, or just something small like a missing spike in base after base. Because even if they're unintentional, they're locked into being part of the level now. But there is one thing that I also secretly knew. You see, while I was working on the video, RobTop was going through all the free versions of Geometry Dash and updating them. This was most likely done because Google Play and Apple both said that they were going to start taking down games that haven't been updated in a while, so although 2.2 still needs more work, the least Rob could do is go back and make sure that the free games are safe, especially since they're more popular anyways. This also let us get our hands on some small new 2.2 features, like the updated icon kit as well as the entire level editor, which granted, I still can't figure out how to use because what are these checkboxes? What is this? What is this? Why is this group purple? Why is there no help text here? Why does this trigger have a second page? And oh my god, it just keeps going. Anyways, when I uploaded the video, Rob had finished updating every single free app with the exception of one, Geometry Dash SubZero. I was actually worried that he would update the game before my video was out, which would ruin the whole part about Power Trip's broken second coin. But turns out this update would take a lot longer because the levels were broken in the current version of 2.2. And that meant that he'd have to go back into the editor and fix it all. So the big question was, if he saw my video, agreed with what I said, and was going back into the editor to update the levels anyways, would he really choose to leave the coins in their current terrible state? I mean, I thought so, but this is the same guy who updated GD World and possessed the frickin' shopkeeper. And then, 12 days later, the update came out. New unlockables, small stuff, bug fixes and tweaks. It was 1 in the morning, I was exhausted, but the moment I heard about this, I needed to see if anything was different. Yep, something happened alright. At this point, I was shaking. I played through all 3 of the levels, and I kid you not, every coin was changed in some way. Except for that last one and press start because it was already good, but still, every other coin. Not just 1 or 2, he went back and fixed all of them. Sure enough, this made its way around the GD community, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Even though I was the only one who really complained about the coins at first, it felt like suddenly everyone agreed that this was much needed. A little while later, in a Reddit AMA, RobTop actually responded to me and gave some details about what things were like on his end. Just like I predicted, he was in the middle of updating SubZero when he came across my video. He was pretty tired when making the game since he had to meet a deadline, which was presumably before the holidays since that's when the other free games were released. He was really low on sleep, and he admits that the coins were pretty lazy. Then he said, "Video you made was on point, good upgrade, thumbs up emoji." I should probably point out that if you haven't seen my last video on the SubZero coins, now would be a very good time to do so. But otherwise, let's talk about what exactly changed in the update. So the first coin in SubZero was met with a very simple change. In my video, I mentioned that the coin was fine, but could probably benefit from a little more glow. And that's exactly what was changed. Even though it's a really small tweak, it impresses me a lot because, realistically, the coin was already good enough. So the fact that RobTop actually went back to further clean it up shows that he really does care about his game. Simply put, he did not have to do this, and he did, and it was entirely his decision. And for that reason in particular, it's one of my favorite changes. The second coin in Press Start was the first change that legitimately blew me away. The way you get the coin hasn't changed, but now it's always visible even before you reveal the hidden path. And this was all it really needed, because now you actually have a motive to explore this part of the level a little. You're not directly told how to get the coin, you just know that it's in the area. And from there, it's a matter of finding a spot where you can safely fall off the normal path. It's crazy how much this coin was improved by simply leaving it visible. Psych! This was the only coin that wasn't changed. It was already fine, so what was he gonna do? Move it to the lower part? If you watched my last video, you know that this coin was where I started to break down. You jump into this random wall, then a coin pops up. In the video I said that there's no indication at all, but you guys pointed out that there's actually a little sparkle here. Very helpful, Rob. And guys, I'm proud to report, we got a red circle. There's a red circle on the wall now. The coin's still pretty hidden, but I think if it was just sitting there like press start, it would be a little too obvious. So this actually works. I think if the coin was placed further in the level, then it would need some more tweaking, but for one at the very beginning, it's perfectly fine. It's definitely not a hint that casual players will notice, but it's good enough in the sense that if they look up how to get it, they'll probably go, ooh, that's clever, instead of, what? Before my video came out, coin 2 was probably the coin that was the most complained about. And you can't blame anyone, because it's actually really hard to get. And based on what we know now, it probably wasn't even tested that much. So, we got a nerf! The key is lower down now, and a lot easier to see. Keep in mind that SubZero is meant to be a game for newer and less skilled players, so this is a very welcome change. As for the second half of the coin, that wasn't changed. I still don't think that this one needs to be a key, but that's more of a personal opinion, so I won't go on about it. So originally, this was the coin that completely broke me. You run into this completely unmarked wall, and then it's easier than taking the top path anyways. I was really curious about how this one would be fixed, and I think I'm just gonna roll the clip. Oh my god. I did not think it would be possible, but this went from one of the worst coins out of all of the official levels to one of the best. I love this one so much. Now it's really obvious that the wall is hiding something, but there's a tight challenge thrown in there as well. You have to react fast to pick up the coin, but not immediately or you'll fail here. I don't know if that part's intentional, but it adds some further difficulty, which I like. Easy 10 out of 10, this is the change that probably caused me to freak out the most. Alright, quick recap of Power Trip's coins. Fall here, tap here a few times. Groundbreaking stuff. Or is it ground phasing since you just fall through this block? Well, doesn't matter because check out how you get it now. Yeah, so basically, this man's insane. I knew that this one would definitely be fixed up in one way or another, but I never would have expected a complete rework like this. It's touches like this which make it clear that RobTop truly wanted to make his game better. He could have just added a simple visual hint and kept everything else exactly the same, but he knew he could do more, so he took another look at the coin and came up with this. I really like how the path was extended a little, so it doesn't feel that much easier to get compared to the main route. So, big glow up, well done. The biggest reason that I didn't like Power Trip's second coin was because it was exactly the same as the first one. See the floating coin there, fall through this random unmarked wall, and it's yours. Truly incredible. So for the updated version, RobTop did the best thing possible. Edit tab, select, garbage button. The coin's still in the same spot, but the way you get it is completely different now. Earlier on in this part of the level, you'll pass by a little sparkle. It's actually a hidden orb which reveals a second sparkle underneath the coin. Tapping on this one will launch you up into the second coin, then right back onto the main path. What I find cool about this coin is that it's not the sparkle that gives away where the orb is, it's actually the little circle effect that appears when you pass by it. It's pretty common to see this in custom levels, so I knew exactly what to do when I reached this point in the level. I still think it would have been cool to play around a little more with the screen warping, but I guess there's not that much you can do, so this coin's still awesome. And best of all, it doesn't just feel different from the previous coin, it feels different from almost all the other coins in the game, and in the best way possible. Also, this probably goes without saying, but you can get this coin on iOS now without any issues. My video had nothing to do with this was definitely going to be fixed either way. Alright, let's not waste any time here, play the clip. Yeah, he actually did it. He moved the coin. I still think tapping to get this coin is a weird idea, but now that you're rewarded directly after doing it, it's a lot less confusing. This especially goes for people who look up how to get the coin on YouTube, then scratch their heads wondering why that one coin at the end didn't appear for them. Also, the number of taps required to get the coin was lowered by 1, which doesn't change too much since I usually tap like crazy here anyways. In my opinion, there's still better places where this coin could have been, but love it or hate it, I would have been a little sad if this one was changed, because once you know how to get it, it's kind of iconic. Anyways, before wrapping up, there is one last part of the level I want to talk about. So if you didn't already know, there's this one spot in Power Trip where you can fall and skip the rest of the level. And there were two different ways to pull this off. The first method was to go through the robot portal normally and just not hit this green orb. But that's the boring way, because you could also skip the second orb in the spider part, avoid the robot portal entirely, and then fall off like this. So was this fixed in the newest update? Yes! Int. A few extra spikes were added, which fixes the robot method, but makes the spider one still possible. I have no idea if this was intentional or not, but if it wasn't, then please, RobTop, don't fix this. Because let's be real, the last 20% of the level is not that hard. If you can pull off this skip in the spider part, you're probably skilled enough to beat the level normally anyways. Yes, it's a mistake, but it's one that people seem to really like. It doesn't bother anyone, it actually makes them feel proud of themselves. One thing I really like was that prior to the update, this path actually locked you out of getting the last coin, so there was a little bit of a trade-off. But now you can go this way while also 100%ing the level, which isn't as cool, but good secret coins are a bigger priority anyways. Part of me wants to believe that RobTop purposely kept this skip in because he's the best developer ever, but the fact that he made an effort to remove it shows that he probably just wasn't aware of the spider method. But now you're only left with the cool and more gratifying way of doing the skip, so it worked out perfectly in the end. And no, I'm still not calling it a secret way, because what does that even mean? I mean, yes, it's a secret, but way? A way? What do you mean by a way? Way? If it's not obvious enough, I still can't believe I'm making this video. The fact that RobTop agrees that the coins were bad gives me a ton of hope for 2.2, because I always knew that he could do better, and he totally proved himself. I won't set my expectations too high for however you get the coins in his next levels, but at least I can rest easily knowing that they probably won't be as bad as the SubZero ones used to be. And hey, if they are, that's more content for me. If there's one thing to take away from this whole situation, it's that you shouldn't be afraid to speak up if there's something you don't like about a game. I made the SubZero coins video because the issue always bothered me, but nobody ever said anything about it. In most cases, you probably shouldn't resort to making an over-exaggerated YouTube video, but honestly, I wasn't really expecting any change. I just wanted to share the flaws with the coins that a lot of people are familiar with, then use it to teach about how to do a better job. The video wasn't just made to point out that the coins suck, it was made because I wanted to explain why. Anyways, if there's ever something in a game that you think is objectively bad, it's usually not that hard to get in touch with one of the developers, assuming it's a smaller indie game. Just send them a message or email and let them know what you like about their game as well as what you think they could have done better. You're not always going to get it your way, but at the very least you'll hear back with an explanation of why things are the way they are. With that being said, I once again want to thank you all so much for watching. This has been one absolute heck of an experience, and I really can't believe how much of a positive impact I was able to leave on the community. I only upload once every month or so if you like what you saw here, then feel free to subscribe for more stuff like it. And stay tuned for my next video where I spend 30 minutes ranting about the third coin in Clutterfunk. Also, congrats on 10 mil, Rob, that's really cool.